Hey everybody, and I am Sarah. Welcome back to Cassette Cult, Banger's Cassette TV show. Today we have a special themed episode on bands that leveraged their debut or demo into a record deal, and we're going to talk with them about how they were able to do that. We're going to chat with American band Throne of Iron, with Taiwanese American band Ripped to Shreds, and with Italian act Marth, who will be providing some tips and tricks for bands looking to get signed. Of course, we'll also be listening to their killer music. Let's dive in. Now, the first band that we're going to talk about is Throne of Iron. We talked about their killer demo in my review for Black Tusk last year, and band mastermind Tucker has been really extremely busy since the release of that demo. This demo was released back on July 31st, 2018, and it was quickly picked up by the metal press, including myself, and then for cassette release by Witchcraft Records. The first cassette release sold out, then the second, and eventually the band caught the eye of No Remorse Records in Greece.
My name's Tucker. I do guitar and vocals in Throne of Iron. We're a D&D themed heavy metal band from Bloomington, Indiana. Our debut full-length, Adventure 1, is out now on No Remorse Records.
Throne of Iron celebrated the release of that beautiful album you saw called Adventure 1 by performing at the Up the Hammers pre-party show in Greece, and they've been playing a variety of other gigs as well. Before we get in too deep, let's check out the demo that kicked this thing off. This is the track, A Call to Adventure. Boop. In terms of tips that Tucker would suggest for bands to get signed, as his band did, he recommends the following.
So my first tip would be that on your demo, pick 3 or 4 of your absolute strongest songs. Like, you need to start setting aside egos and understanding which ones of those songs are the ones that get stuck in your head after practice for days on end. Pick those, put those on your demo. Make sure that your demo has attractive art or packaging, or at least something eye-catching, like with what we did with just a very stark black and white cover. When you put that up on Bandcamp, promote it to everyone. I mean, every single member of your project should be sharing this thing around.
Next up, we've got some killer crushing death metal for you from Taiwanese American project Ripped to Shreds. Let's hear from their mastermind.
I'm Andrew from Ripped to Shreds. You can buy our new album, Run, on Bandcamp. I'm also in Skull Smasher and a whole lot of other bands, so just look me up on Metal Archives and you can check them all out.
We are going to blast a track from the full length that kicked off his band's breakout success. This is the song Open Grave, and it fucking rules. I really like that band a lot, actually. Fucking rule. That was Open Grave, and that song is awesome. And the album it came from was awesome because kicking off with their debut, Ripped to Shreds really invested, you know, monetarily in their own music. They went to Damien Herring of Horrendous for a good mixing and mastering job, and they paid for artwork by Scalvalder. Sorry about that. I'm so bad with names. This strategy of investing in your music is one that I cannot stress enough. If you want your music to be properly recorded and properly advertised to the world, investing extra in the recording and the artwork that suits your band and your style is definitely a good way to do it. And I speak from personal experience with all the work that I've done with Smolder. Like, make your band a unified package that really communicates what you want. Andrew learned that same lesson from his own personal experience.
It's partially a reaction to like my first band, and we put out a demo. I mixed it myself. The drummer did the art, and I think when we did it, it was kind of fine for our abilities at the time. But a couple months later, I look at it and I'm like, this is just not good enough. Like, now I feel confident about mixing my own music and mixing other people's music. But at the time, I just didn't have the skill. And so, obviously I'm a huge fan of Horrendous. I think they and along with Dead Congregation are like the two biggest bands that inspired me to play my own music. So it was a very natural idea to just, email Damien and be like, hey, what are your rates? You want to mix my album?
Furthermore, Andrew decided with Ripped to Shreds' debut that a publicist would be a good investment. Although this can be a rather large investment for some bands, it paid off in spades because Ripped to Shreds ended up getting featured in numerous publications, which of course helped trigger way more sales. Eventually, the album was pressed not only to cassette, twice, but on CD twice and on vinyl. Ultimately, Andrew definitely suggested that paying for a publicist was a good investment. And another tip that he definitely recommends is being part of a metal community that will support your release. In his case, he was really involved in the online Reddit community, so that helped push it further.
Part of it is, not just having, good music and good mixing and good presentation. A large part of the success is being really involved in the Reddit metal community.
Yeah.
Because, there's a ton of people there and you get a lot of eyes on something you put up there. But, if just a random person throws up, hey, listen to my new release, no one's going to pay attention, right? But if you're an active member of the community and people, they kind of know who you are, they're like, oh, hey, this guy who I chat with all the time just put out some new release. I'm going to take a listen to it. And I think that really helped drive a lot of stuff.
If there's any final recommendation to kind of call from all this, it would be that if you're in a metal band, you should really be involved in your local or online metal community. Go to local shows, share music you dig online, and make a community that is conducive to your music. It can really seriously take you a very long way. And, now that we're at this juncture, I'd be stupid not to mention the fact that Ripped to Shreds released their second album on April 17th via Pulverized Records. I would have featured that new album on here, but we filmed it right before the release. But rest assured, it's some filthy killer death metal, and if you can get your copies on their debut or on their 8 Immortals Feast cassette, then I highly recommend it because all of this is just crushing, punishing death metal made by, an extremely talented musician. Now, third and finally, we are going to be talking to and about Marth, who is a one-woman project who released her debut release called Sisters of Demo on May 19th, 2019. I am a huge fan of this project. I actually featured it in my favorite albums of 2019 video. And Marth, she makes punky, noisy, sludgy, occult horror doom that sounds equally inspired by Sisters of Mercy and Bathory. It's really unusual, excellent stuff that draws you in. We should talk to the mastermind of this band about this release.
And this band, Marte, is like a new thing because I don't know why. I love metal stuff so much, but I never had a metal band in my life. I've always been playing with punk bands or deep beat bands or this last thing is death rock, but I never had a real metal band. So in the end, I had a certain amount of riffs put aside since ever. So one day I was, okay, I'm going to do it myself.
Marth's involvement in those genres is utterly unsurprising when you listen to Sisters of Darkness. Here's my favorite track from the release. It's called Married to a Grave. Teardrops Now, before we talk more about what Marth did, I do have to make sure that I mention how cool and unusual this cassette package is. Basically, what Marth did was that she made 50 copies of her release, Sisters of Darkness, by herself, and did this like awesome, you know, kind of like VHS size package or book size package. And of those, 10 of them were Die Hard editions, where she included patches. This one is my absolute favorite patch I've ever received. And personalized messages and notes. Like, this is just truly like an act of love. And of 10 copies, she did these Die Hard bundles, one of which she sold to me. The remaining 40 sold out very quickly because she reached out to friends and folks in her scene. And after that, she started reaching out to labels to see if they'd be interested in repressing the release.
It's not a secret, but it's not revealed yet. Is that after all the good reviews, I actually decided to ask some labels if they wanted to make the demo in a real tape version, like not only 50 pieces. And I actually wrote to Caligari Records, which is the super master for demo tapes, and he accepted. So it was like, oh, I really like it. So if you want, we can make a demo tape. And I was, wow, yes, thank you very much.
Now, Caligari is an absolutely killer cassette label who I've wanted to feature for ages. By no means am I suggesting that bands start flooding Caligari, specifically with requests to press their albums, but it's a really great idea to reach out to labels who support your genre of music if you receive a lot of positive feedback from, let's say, a Bandcamp release, and from the media, of course. If a label sees that other people are interested, they may end up picking you up because obviously labels are in the business of selling music, and if your music sells, then they'll be interested in signing you. So, where does this all leave us? Today we featured 3 bands from 3 very different genres of music, all of whom had a bunch of helpful tips for bands looking to get signed. I hope this was actually helpful for all you budding musicians out there, but more importantly, I really hope that you found a new band that you dig. Again, sweet Italian occult horror doom sludge noise weirdness with Marth, amazing death metal, ripped to shreds, and finally, some reverb-soaked heavy metal with Throne of Iron. I hope you go buy this stuff on Bandcamp, and thanks for watching. Bye!